Welcome to the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan for an important NFC Central Division battle between the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Brown. Well, the Packers and Lions come limping into today's contest with identical 1-2 records and in must-win situations. That's because history has shown only one team in the past 5 years has ever started 1-3 and gone to the playoffs. My partner is Randy Cross, and Randy, that stat is not lost on offensive guard Billy Art of the Packers. He says this is the biggest game of the year for them.
Well, Billy's right. It is a must-win situation, and quarterback Don Majkowski realizes that also. Last week, he got his first start of 1990, looked very rusty, looked very, very average. He said, hey, I'll hit my stride in about 2 weeks. He doesn't have 2 weeks. He's got to be good today. The Packers have to win today if they want to stay in contention. In the Detroit Lions defense, Majkowski's got a group that's missing 5 of its 11 starters and likes to give them the underneath pass, which is the Packers' specialty. Key matchup, the Packer offense against the Detroit defense.
And the Detroit Lions have won the toss and will receive, kicking off for Green Bay. Second-year player out of Texas El Paso, Chris Jackie, and back deep, Mel Gray, leading the NFL in kickoff returns with an average of just over 38 yards. And the longest uninterrupted rivalry is underway. At the 10, Mel Gray. And Gray temporarily stopped, but Bulls ahead for the extra 5 yards, dropped by Scott Stevens. So the Lions will operate after that 27-yard return by Mel Gray. Quarterbacking things, Rodney Peete, second-year man out of USC. Had a better outing last week, 17 of 26 for 96 yards. Offensive front, tackles, Lomas Brown and Harvey Salem. Guards, Andolsek and Dallafor. Center is Kevin Glover. Backs and receivers, one running back in this run-and-shoot offense. That's Barry Sanders. 4 wideouts, Clark, Johnson, Matthews, and Greer. First and 10 for the Lions. Ball marked at their own 36. Peete with time decides to take it and heads out of bounds about 1 yard shy of the first down marker. Run out of bounds by Tim Harris. And the defense that Peete will be operating against today of the Packers at the ends, Matt Brock and Robert Brown. Bob Nelson, the nose tackle. Linebacking core, the strength, Scott Stevens, Brian Noble, Johnny Holland, and Tim Harris. And the secondary, Lee, Holmes, Tiger Green, and Mark Murphy, the safeties. 2nd and 1 for the Lions. Greer to the top of your screen. Richard Johnson in motion. And the handoff to Sanders. Sanders has the first down. Just a whole lot more. 17-yard run by Barry Sanders.
And the key to that play is the right guard, number 67, Ken Dallafor, gets out and tries to put a block on Tim Harris. Harris plays it so soft, number 97, gives Barry Sanders the corner. That's something the Green Bay Packers don't want to do, is start giving Barry Sanders some good running holes to work with.
4th leading rusher in the NFC. Impressive start for the Lions as they march. Ball at the 37 of Green Bay. 1st and 10. Peete complete, in and out of the hands of Richard Johnson. So Johnson had the ball for a second, tried to run, and lost it.
And Green Bay tested Barry Sanders early, blitzing Brian Noble, their inside linebacker, number 91, and Barry did a commendable job of stopping him. I don't think he exactly hurt him with the block, but he got in his way.
Little disparity there in size, and Detroit operating with no huddle here. 2nd and 10. 6 DBs in for the Packers. Just underway here in the first quarter. No score. Aubrey Matthews in motion. Peete. Flushed out of the pocket by Harris. Foot race between he and Brock. And Peete with the first down. And Randy, certainly that is one of the real assets of Rodney Peete on that 11-yard run.
Exactly, James. He's got good poise in the pocket, and he realizes I'm getting a lot of pressure. I better get the heck out of here. They're covering my guys real good. See, it breaks down early with Tim Harris beating Harvey Salem, number 73, and now it's just a race. And I'm sorry, Matt Brock, you're not going to beat Rodney Peete in a foot race.
Pete was very candid telling you last night that while he used to try to be a runner, no longer at this level.
Well, Bob Galliano, number 14, the backup, said, Rodney, get out of bounds. You'll last a lot longer.
1st and 10 from the 27 of the pack. Hand off to Sanders. Sanders, Juki. And looks to have enough for another 1st down. An 11-yard run by Barry Sanders. And if Wayne Font says he needs to shake and bake on his receiving routes, certainly not in his running style.
Exactly. Well, he's got that running style to start with. He doesn't have it so much in his pass patterns, but very, very key. And what Wayne Fonts wants to do here is keep the nickel guys off the field for Green Bay. He's going with a no huddle, and the run and shoot is very well suited to the no huddle. They don't have to worry about substitutions. They don't ever take go to less than 4 wide receivers.
Ball at the 16 of Green Bay. Opening drive by the Lions. 1st and 10. Pete throws it low, handled by Aubrey Matthews, and Pete had to get rid of that as the pressure was applied by number 90, Tony Bennett.
And Lindy Infante is very high on Tony Bennett. He says he's the kind of guy is going to be a real comer in a couple of years, and he's the perfect guy to complement Tim Harris another year or two down the line from that other deep outside linebacker position.
2-yard pickup on the play, and again a no huddle. 2nd and 8. Richard Johnson in motion. Pete decides to take it. Has another 1st down near the 5-yard line. So Randy, as you take a look at what Detroit is doing in this opening drive, what's impressive to you?
What really is impressive to me is the poise. Rodney's making some quick decisions. He's going to see things break down out here. He won't have anywhere to go, and the only person that's really going to be able to stop him is Blaze Winter, number 68, coming from that onside, and you're not going to catch Rodney Peete. Right now, he knows there's nobody going to be open. He's going to pull it down and run with it. And Green Bay, though they're covering the receivers very, very well, they want Rodney Peete to have to throw the ball. They would like to have him running.
1st and goal, ball at the 4 of Green Bay. Opening drive for the Lions. Sanders with a good block of Vernell Depp. Plenty of time for Pete. And overthrows the intended receiver, Robert Clark. Well, if Barry Sanders had been criticized because of his poor blocking, he certainly is showing some good blocking in the opening drive here, Randy.
Exactly. You know, Barry's a motivated guy. He says, look, my blocking's getting better. I never had the block at Oklahoma State.
There is a flag in the end zone where the intended receiver, Clark, was.
We have a receiver that went out of bounds, came back in, and it was first to touch. The penalty is loss of down, 2nd down.
Very, very good. Once the receiver is bumped out of bounds, it doesn't matter if it's in the back of the end zone. He cannot come back into the field and be an eligible receiver. He is a dead player. He's supposed to be out of the play completely.
And, of course, not literally a dead player.
For that play.
Our referee today is Tom Dooley.
But a reminder, that was a loss of down.
So it's 2nd and goal from the 4. Pete throws it back to Clark again. This time, touchdown Detroit.
This opening kind of drive is just what Rodney Peete really needed. He didn't have to throw the ball very often, but he was making good quarterback decisions. He was running the ball well, and he found Robert Clark there, number 82, wide open right over on a quick little slant pattern.
Saw Wayne Fonts greeting the group over there, Robert Clark included. And Eddie Murray on for the point after. The holder is Jim Arnold. It's up, and it's good. So the Lions on the scoreboard first, scoring on their opening drive and lead it 7-0.
And on this particular play, Clark is going to beat Jerry Holmes, number 44, who last year was a Detroit Lion, was very, very fired up about playing in this game. But it's just a quick slant pattern. Watch Pete whip around right there. He sees the opening, throws it between arms. Very nice pass and a good catch.
Rodney Peete trying to show people he can throw as well as run. Impressive opening drive.
Walk into a television showroom, and someone will probably try to sell you a set with a foreign name on it. Before you see their choice, ask to see yours. Ask to see the first TVs that combine digital video and audio, with a performance to back it up. Ask for picture-in-picture with triple flashback. Ask for a single remote that can learn to run everything. Ask to see a Zenith. For true innovation in television, quality never looked more like a Zenith.
In this room is a remarkable entertainment. It can make you laugh. Or change moods. It'll take you around the world. It comes with 50,000 people to help. It does more, faster. Yet for all you get, it costs amazingly little. It's AT&T Long Distance.
Introducing the new Dodge Shadow America and Plymouth Sundance America. The perfect cars for an imperfect world. To help protect you in an accident, they have driver's airbags. To protect you in an oil shortage, they have excellent gas mileage. To protect you in a tight economy, they're the lowest priced American cars. Sundance America. Shadow America. Making the world a little less imperfect.
Setting up for the kickoff for Detroit, Eddie Murray, who's had some difficulty on his kickoffs, Randy, not long enough because of an ailing left hip.
And special teams coach Frank Gans has said he's gotten a lot better, a lot stronger, but this is where it shows, is on the kickoffs.
And this one shows clearly as Carl Bland takes it from the 16. Little juke move takes it up to around about the 27-yard line. So Green Bay will take over, and at the helm, second start for the 90 season, Don Majkowski. Shaky performance last week, but he's had some great games against Detroit. And the offensive front, the tackles, Rutgers and Mandarich. Guards, Billy Ard and Keith Euchre. Center, James Campen, and the tight end, Ed West. Backs and receivers, Woodside and Fullwood, the running backs. Wide receivers, Sterling Sharp and Perry Kemp. Don Majkowski, very candid about how it's going to take him some time to get in shape, find the groove. Randy says he doesn't have that luxury. On the ground, across the 30, Brent Fullwood. So a 4-yard run by Brent Fullwood, fourth-year player out of Auburn. The defense of the Lions ends Keith Ferguson and Kevin Brooks into the starting lineup this week. Jerry Ball at the nose tackle. Linebackers, Jimmy Williams starting this week. Toby Castone, Dennis Gibson, and Michael Kofer. Secondary, Bruce McNorton in for Terry Taylor, Irvin White, and Herb Welch. White and Welch, the safeties. Woodside and Fullwood, the backs, on 2nd and 6. 3 wideouts in for the Pack. Majkowski, first pass. Complete to Woodside across the 40. Enough for the first down. For Woodside, who caught 59 last year with that reception, 10-yard pickup.
And this is the kind of pattern that takes timing, takes a lot of feel, and Don Majkowski steps right up into the pocket and delivers it on time and on the money to Woodside. Now look how close the Jerry Ball number 93 is to Campen, number 63, trying to get around. He's being held effectively by both Billy Ard, number 67, and Campen, 63, and being frustrated on his pass rush. There's the best nose guard in the league right now, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Ball.
We'll tell you that too. Here's Fullwood again, second carry, trying to turn the corner, and does. So Brent Fullwood, 5 yards on the run out of bounds by Dennis Gibson. Gibson, a fourth-year player out of Iowa State. And you know Gibson pretty well. Real solid player in there. Doesn't get a lot of publicity.
Well, he's had Chris Spielman on the other side, who's out right now on IR with a bad shoulder. And Dennis is sort of quiet, very effective player. You know, he made the comment to us Friday. He says, gee, I wish they'd let me blitz more often. You know, Woody Weidenhofer, who's our defensive coordinator, got to let me go more often. I got a sack and a half in 4 years.
Well, they keep track of that.
It's in their contract, that's why.
2nd and 5. And flags everywhere stopping the play. As Fullwood had the call again. But Tom Dooley will have this one.
All start, 77 offense, second down.
And that's against Tony Mandarich. Second-year player, of course, out of Michigan State.
And one of the things you have to learn when you're young is not to give away your stance. Here's Manders right here at right tackle, number 77. We're going to see him just move a little bit, but he's set back right there. That is going to be pass. But he jumps off sides just a little bit, and very effective run blocker. But so far in this first season, he's had a little bit of trouble with his lateral movement on pass blocking. And against a guy like Mike Cofer, number 55, from rushing from the outside, he could give Manders some serious trouble.
2nd and 10. Mikowski eludes one tackler, throws it out of bounds in the direction of Ed West. Kevin Brooks applying the pressure.
And that's just the thing last week the Packers said Mikowski wasn't doing, was when he got pressure and there wasn't anything there, he was holding the ball too long, trying to make things happen, trying to manufacture some of that magic people attribute him to have. Right there, he made a good decision. He was getting pressure, nobody was open, so he just put that ball where nobody was going to get it except for the people in the front row. And that was one of the things Lindy Infante there, the head coach, with the headset on there, made the comment to us yesterday. Don's just got to settle down in the pocket. You know, he's been out. There's no way to really reproduce standing in the pocket in the NFL outside of standing on the freeway in the fast lane watching cars go by.
3rd and 10. Ball on the 42 of Green Bay. Nickel defensive package in for the Lions. Complete to Sterling Sharp, and he drops it. But Sterling actually dropped it because he saw the flag on the play and the officials whistling the play dead.
Delay of game, offense.
And delay of game goes against the Pack. So the miscues continue against the Packers.
That's just part of the result of this new 45-25 clock we got working right now, with 25 seconds for these guys to get off plays. That's why more teams are going to the no huddle. They just don't have as much time to get this play off in the huddle once it's signaled in from the sideline.
3rd and 15 for the Pack. 4 wideouts. Mikowski under pressure again, having to run it. And he gets the first down. So Don Mikowski, showing his athleticism, picks up 17 on the play and a first down.
Well, Don Mikowski is known as a great passer. He will never be confused with having the running ability of a Rodney Peete or an Andre Ware, for that matter, the 3rd-string quarterback for Detroit. Here, now watch Herman Fontenot, 27 on McNorton right there, 29. Great block on that play right there. Mikowski takes what he can get and gets the heck out of bounds.
Now, although the fans may not notice that, certainly the players do, and they'll be pleased to see that in film session on Monday.
Oh, exactly. He'll take a little grief about that stumbling around at the beginning, though, too.
1st and 10 for the Pack. Ball at the 46 of Green Bay. Woodside. Hit by Bruce McNorton. Pickup of about 4 as Woodside trying to find a way through the Lions defense. And speaking of defense, Randy, you mentioned at the top, Lions defense really riddled with injuries.
Well, I think that graphic right there says it all. Look at that. Those were all starters at the beginning of the year. And Jerry Ball, though he's in there, is very, very hampered by a bad ankle. He was only able to play about half the game last week. He goes real hard early, but that ankle starts wearing down. As a matter of fact, Dan Owens, number 70, the rookie out of Southern Cal, is in the game now at nose guard for Jerry Ball.
2nd and 6. Mikowski looking for Sharp, has him. First down. Out of bounds, pushed out by William White and Bruce McNorton. So Sterling Sharp catches it, and there is a flag on a play, a 13-yard pass play between Mikowski and Sharp. And the play will stand as the penalty goes against Detroit.
You saw Sharp give a good arm over right there to McNorton and takes a little shot going out of bounds here. I mean, this guy is talented, works hard.
59 on the defense.
Got a holding call on Jimmy Williams, which has been declined, and they'll keep that first down. But Sterling Sharp works hard in the weight room, says he's benched over 400 pounds, probably the strongest wide receiver in the league. And the only thing faster than Sterling Sharp's feet are his mouth. This guy is quick. He's intelligent. I mean, he could give Arsenio Hall a run for his money as a late-night guest, or host.
He is bright and witty. One of the real characters in the league. 1st and 10 for Green Bay. Ball at the 29 of Detroit. Woodside cuts back. Gets inside the 25. Pick up a 4 on the play. So Woodside showing some good cutting ability. Interestingly, talking to Willie Pete, the offensive backfield coach of the Green Bay Packers, he says, although we've got a bevy of backs, they're all role players. We don't have the one guy who can go out and do it all.
Well, that's true. That's one thing they have got. But they do have one guy back there, number 39, Darrell Thompson, their rookie out of Minnesota, that Lindy Infante happens to think might be the guy. He says, we'll get him in some today. We got to find out what this guy can do.
Right now, the Pack trying to find out what they can do on 2nd and 6. Sterling Sharp to the top of the screen. Forward. And forward. Driven back after a pickup of 4. And a flag on the play. And upset right now is Dennis Gibson doing a little wolfing seemingly with Tony Mandarich.
Well, it doesn't really matter who hit who first or who punched who. It's who swung last and the ref saw. Let's watch the end of this play. You want to watch Gibson, number 98, and look for Mandarich, number 77, right there in front of him. It must have happened on the ground. Oh, there it is. Oh, a little kick, little friendly foot contact.
You got to like the spunk, if not the penalty.
Well,
against Detroit. I mean, in that Gibson, only 243 going against a guy who's at 295.
But by the same token, it's a dumb mistake by Tony Mandarich right there, number 77. You got to keep your cool. Offensive players are supposed to be the ones that keep their cool in situations like that. Let the defender be the guy that kicks. Let him be the one that hits. You've got a first down. Your ball moves back the field. Now, right now, you're looking at 2nd and 17.
Actually, call it 2nd and 20. Sharp in motion. 4 wideouts in for the Pack. Mikowski finds Sharp over the middle. Sharp hog-tied by Bruce McNorton. Now, Randy, the question is, did you employ that kind of calm, collect reasoning when you were playing in the heat of battle?
Well, you don't have much choice when you're an offensive player. You've got to sort of keep your composure. And Tony Mandarich is obviously ready to play in this game. The guy's fired up. You've just got to sort of use that safety lever, the little steam release. You can't let it explode like that. Tony's a great run blocker. He's going to be a good pass blocker. He did a fine job on the last play against Keith Ferguson.
Pickup of 8 brings up 3rd and 12. The rookie out of USC. And the word on Dan Owens, very, very versatile.
Very versatile. He's got a great refreshing outlook on the game, too. Has a lot of fun. Owens is to come from nose tackle. We get a stunt here. Owens will come around and watch the expression, the body language when he hits this ball and realizes he could have had himself an interception. Because he's going to jump up here. He hits it. Oh, right in the chest. Oh, my goodness.
Chris Jackie on for Lindy Infante to attempt a 49-yard field goal. It's up. And it's no good. So Jackie, who has set a Packer record of 15 consecutive field goals, does not get a chance to extend it. Pack still scoreless.
Chrysler Fifth Avenue, Imperial, and New Yorker Salon are all engineered with ABS brakes, so you're safer when you drive. With our hands-free visor phone, you're safer making a call. Our remote entry system means you're safer at night. And our driver's airbag means you're safer in an accident. Chrysler Safety, because the most important thing that goes into our cars is you.
There's a new attitude at Northwest Airlines, a new dedication to service. You can see it in our on-time performance, the best of the top 7 U.S. airlines. That's our commitment, to make sure you're on time for your commitments.
You've heard it said before. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. LaserJet printers from Hewlett-Packard. They'll get you noticed.
There are those who thirst for something different, something beyond the ordinary. For them, there is a beer that refreshes like no other. Michelob Dry. Once you've experienced its bold taste, with no aftertaste, there's no going back.
Gorgeous autumn afternoon here in Pontiac, Michigan, and an even more gorgeous shot coming from the blimp. Talk about our array of cameras, the aerial photos courtesy of the SeaWorld blimp, which goes by the name Airship Shamu.
That's a catchy little thing. I can't stand these dome stadiums. I really don't like these. It's like playing football in your living rooms. This thing has got to be outside.
Detroit ball, 1st and 10 from its own 31. Lions on top 7-0. Pete with time, with plenty of time, going for Richard Johnson. And they say he's out of bounds. Johnson's stride was carrying him out of bounds.
Yeah, that was not a very hard decision to make. I believe both of his feet were out of bounds by the time he caught the ball. It seems he just a little bit lost track of where he was on the field. Now watch the very end of this thing. He's concentrating. You can't see his feet. He's concentrating like crazy. By the time he looks back from the ball and looks down to put his feet down, he's out of bounds. He's out of bounds with the first foot, and he's out of bounds with the second foot. But it was a very nice touch pass by Rodney Peete. And thus far, this Detroit Lions offense is looking very, very effective. You know, Rodney's gotten a lot of heat about being the minus, because teams are saying, you've got to beat us throwing the ball. But I agree with the observation you had yesterday. A little bit of that blame's got to be spread around to the wide receivers. I mean, this is not a championship class group of wide receivers that Rodney Peete's throwing to.
The play was being reviewed. And the replay official for today, Cal Lepore. And I'm sure that the play will be upheld, as you indicated, Randy.
After further review, the play will stand as called. It is 2nd down.
So it brings up a 2nd and 10. Robert Clark to the near side, trips receivers to the right. .426 remaining in the first quarter. Lions up by a touchdown. Pete to Clark, in and out of the arms of Robert Clark. On the coverage that time, Leroy Butler. Butler, a rookie out of Florida State. As you take a look at Robert Clark. Real Smurf type receivers. Now, Randy, if you had to grade the type of receivers that the Lions have, what grade would you give them?
Well, I'd give them about a 4.5 on a scale of 10. I mean, I wouldn't call them Smurf. That's the Washington old wide receivers. Those were real quality guys. These guys are more like the Munchkins.
3rd and 10. Sanders misses Tim Harris. Harris pressuring Rodney Peete. And Pete rifles it to Richard Johnson, and it's complete for the first down. Now, Randy, you talk about poise under pressure. Tim Harris looking to take Rodney Peete's head off, and Pete staying focused.
Exactly, and Barry Sanders watching right here, number 20, throw a Nolan Ryan, which is a no-hitter, a whiff, an didn't touch him. Right here, he's all over Pete. And poor Dallafor, 67, is trying to chase him, but he ain't going to catch Tim Harris. Watch this throw. Zipped it right past Mark Lee, 22, and in front of Jerry Holmes, number 44, and hit Johnson right on the chest.
1st and 10. Ball from the 45 of Detroit. Late handoff to Sanders. Sanders looking for a hole, finds it. And picks up a good 8 to 9 on the run. Randy, talk about creating something where nothing was. That's his strength.
Oh, exactly. What he has the rare ability to do, and to watch here, watch not when he's going forwards, folks. Watch what happens when he's going sideways. Now all of a sudden he's going full speed again. Now he goes sideways. Now he's going full speed forward again. The guy is uncanny. He has got power and acceleration like no other back, I think, for a long time in the NFL.
2nd and 1. Burnell Dent chasing down Pete. And Pete wisely gets rid of it in time. So the last couple of times, Rodney Peete operating under pressure, but that good speed of his working to his advantage as we wind down toward the end of the first quarter here. Live from the Silverdome here in Pontiac, Michigan. James Brown along with Randy Cross. 7-0 ball game. Detroit on top. thanks to that Rodney Peete to Robert Clark pass in the first quarter, early first quarter. And we got a 3rd and 1 situation here. Ball at the 46 of Green Bay. Sanders. First down. And Randy, talk about acceleration. Mike Weddington was within a yard of Sanders from behind to grab him, and Sanders exploded.
On a quick play like that, and Detroit has actually become a very, very effective quick trapping team because they have guards in Dallafor, number 67, and Andalsick, number 65, who trap very, very effectively. And on that last play, Tim Harris was trapped by Andalsick, and Barry Sanders only needs a crack. You don't need to block a hole. I mean, most backs need a hole. Barry Sanders needs a ray of sunlight, and he's through it and gone.
You said a crack, the tiniest of cracks. He's carried 4 times for 44 yards in the first quarter alone. Peete. Intended receiver was Robert Clark, as Leroy Butler was going for the interception. That would have been a magnificent one if he could have gotten to it.
He didn't need a step ladder to get at that ball. That ball wasn't going to be anywhere where anybody could get it.
1:50 remaining in the first quarter. Both of these teams records 1 and 2. 3-way tie for 3rd place in the NFC Central Division. Rodney Peete recognizing how important today's game is for the Lions. Second and 10. Peete going up top, looking for Johnson. Overthrows him. And Jerry Holmes there with him, step for step.
And this is almost a replay on that last play of what happened late in the 4th quarter last week against Tampa Bay. Had a wide open Robert Clark in that case and overthrows him. And here Johnson's got to step on Holmes, number 44, the cornerback. You know, Richard Johnson told us, I can go back to Mouse Davis and I'll tell him if I think Holmes is squatting a little bit or he's reading or cheating on some of my moves, we're going to go downfield. Obviously, Johnson reads something in Holmes because they're testing him early and they're testing him deep.
3rd and 10. That block coming from behind. Ball tipped as Barry Sanders was going for the reception. Sanders wisely got out of the way as he saw Mark Murphy coming to lay the hit on. Now, in the series before, Lomas Brown limped off the field. The starting left tackle for the Lions, Harvey Salem, came in to replace him. We'll check on Lomas Brown's condition.
And Salem had left earlier in the game with a little bit of a muscle cramp. So that's a real concern. They cannot afford, the Detroit Lions cannot afford to lose offensive linemen. They don't have a whole lot of depth on that offensive line, though I think they're pretty good. They don't have much depth.
Lomas Brown, number 75 there, limping. Jeff Query back deep for the Pack to receive this Jim Arnold punt. And the special teams of Detroit do a great job of downing the ball near the 2. Ray Crockett, give the credit to him. 35-yard punt. Pack when we come back.
Introducing the new Dodge Shadow America and Plymouth Sundance America. The perfect cars for an imperfect world. To help protect you in an accident, they have driver's airbags. To protect you in an oil shortage, they have excellent gas mileage. And to protect you in a tight economy, they're the lowest priced American cars. Sundance America. Shadow America. Making the world a little less imperfect.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
I didn't want to be the first, but when I heard how many other guys had already tried Rogaine, I did too. Now I have only one regret. I just wish I'd tried Rogaine sooner.
For more information about Rogaine with minoxidil, see your doctor or call this number.
If you're wondering whether Rogaine is for you, call this number, and we'll give you an incentive to find out. A certificate worth $10 toward a consultation visit with your doctor. Call 1-800-556-4800.
When are we going to get a maid?
We don't need a maid. That's why we had kids.
Catch the show People Magazine called one of the season's happiest surprises.
Yes!
Lenny, Wednesday.
The gentleman in the middle of the screen there is Jerry Wampler, the offensive line coach, drawing out some of the blitz pickups for the offense. And speaking of the offensive line, Lomas Brown, the left tackle, number 75, is said to have a twisted ankle and will return. But the blitz pickup, very important for the line, maybe more important for Barry Sanders, that he knows who he's supposed to block as well as how to block him.
1st and 10 from the 5, Fullwood. Across the 10 to about the 14-yard line. So Brent Fullwood running well for the Pack.
Both teams up on the offensive line are getting some good push against these defenses and open up some pretty significant gashes in these defensive fronts.
9-yard run by Brent Fullwood will bring up a 2nd and 1. Anthony Dilweg opened up the season for the Pack in impressive fashion. Struggled a little bit in game 2.
And got enough plays in that first game, having a great game. NFC Player of the Week to the first highlights film, but don't look to see him too often unless Mikowski gets hurt.
Fullwood dropped in the backfield. Give it credit to Dennis Gibson. And a flag on the play. I don't know if Gibson was blitzing or not, but he got back there quickly as if he was blitzing.
Personal foul. Roughness, 59 defense, 1st down.
Now the personal foul goes against Jimmy Williams, the 9th-year veteran out of Nebraska, who certainly has a reputation as being one of the cleanest players around. As you take a look at Wayne Fonts, hands on hips.
Nuts anymore. He got caught that time doing a little hit to the face, I believe is what they would call that. But and he's starting today for George Jameson, number 58, who's out with an injured ankle, I believe. I'm sorry, a banged up shoulder.
1st and 10. Ball at the 28 of Green Bay. Mikowski looking for Sharp. Incomplete. Off the fingertips of Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp last year had 90 receptions, leading the NFL in that category. Coming into today's game, only had 10. And the word was that most of the defenses were rotating toward him and giving double coverage. But Sterling says, hey, I haven't seen that.
Not really. I mean, they're just having a hard time getting back in sync with Don Mikowski not being used to throwing the ball out there. Sterling says, I'm a very patient player. Last year, I'd go to the sideline and tell Lindy I'm open. I'd go to the huddle. I'd tell Don I'm open. This year, I'm more relaxed. I'm more poised. Just throw me the ball.
Ray Crockett, the 5th DB in for Detroit, as Mikowski eludes the rush. 1st down. Still on his feet across midfield and roped out of bounds by Ray Crockett.
And another fine job downfield by Herman Fontenot, the fullback, number 27, did a great job on McNorton again, number 29, keeping him off of Mikowski. But Mikowski so far is running the ball pretty well. I mean, the Lions were very, very concerned about Mikowski's ability to get out and run around.
And that's the end of the first quarter, that 24-yard run by Don Mikowski. Lions lead it 7-0.
Why is it so difficult to communicate? Why do people hurt each other? Why do some guys have a hard time adjusting? Why? Ask why. Try Bud Dry. It's cold filtered for smooth draft taste. It's dry brewed for no aftertaste. It's the perfect refreshment for the games people play.
She's a good-looking ride.
Who's this stranger?
Don't know.
What you feeding her? Conoco Super Unleaded helps prevent damaging intake valve deposits.
And it helps keep them fuel injectors and carburetors real clean.
Ladies.
Who was that man?
I don't know, but I sure like how he rides.
Conoco. Hottest brand going.
The Chrysler New Yorker 5th Avenue is engineered with ABS brakes, so you're safer when you drive. Our hands-free visor phone means you're safer making a call. Our remote entry system means you're safer at night. And our standard driver's airbag means you're even safer in an accident. Chrysler safety. Because the most important thing that goes into our cars is you.
Another picturesque shot courtesy of our blimp. Lions on top as we start the second quarter by a touchdown. And Don Majkowski doing the job on the ground, Randy, at least anyway.
That's the story so far in this game, James. These quarterbacks are getting themselves out of trouble. And there's Rodney Peete talking to Bob Galliano, number 14. Both quarterbacks are getting rushed. They're getting flushed out of the pocket, but they have the poise and the blocking downfield to gain significant yards on the ground.
Majkowski back to pass on first down. With time. Throws it high and incomplete to Michael Haddix. We talked about Majkowski's ground statistics. Take a look at the quarterbacks on the run this year.
Exactly, but you know what you don't really want to do, and even in especially in a run and shoot offense, there you see Rodney Peete leading the league in quarterback rushing. Quarterbacks take enough of a pounding in the run and shoot, just standing back there in a 3 to 5 step drop trying to throw the ball. They get out there and start getting whacked on the run too. You better be very deep at the quarterback position, and that's a luxury Detroit does have. They have 3 good quarterbacks.
Of course, those numbers reflective of action coming into today's game. Second down for Perry Kemp. Incomplete. Is it a live ball? No, it's a dead ball. Officials are whistling it dead. So Perry Kemp going across the middle where most receivers dread. Had it for a second, but lost it on the hit.
Well, it's one of those things, unless you've done it in the last week or so, some receivers tend to sort of forget about what happens in there. Well, Perry Kemp is going to get a very good reminder what happens when you go inside. Look at this. Watch his ribs. Bam, bam, ball. Forget it. I'm grabbing my side. That hurt. Very nice play right there by Dennis Gibson coming in here after the ball, trying to keep him away from the ball. That wasn't a late hit, ladies and gentlemen. That was just very, very aggressive defense.
Perry Kemp at only 5'11", 165, and you saw Kemp whistling and signaling for a timeout. So Green Bay gets it. Ball at the 48 of Detroit. We'll be back in just a moment.
The Fury in Florida. Number 2, Florida State. Number 10, Miami. The state isn't big enough for the both of them. Next Saturday.
This is a special training course where Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts learn to deal with physical obstacles. Here, they learn self-confidence and reliance.
I'm Brian Noble of the Green Bay Packers, and I got a very personal reason for working with these young people as a United Way volunteer.
I was a Boy Scout myself, and I know the tough problems they face trying to grow up in a society where drug and alcohol abuse are commonplace. Through scouting and programs like this, which are made possible by your contributions to the United Way, these kids are making the right choices. Staying in school, saying no to all of the things that can rob them of their futures.
This is my wife, Cindy, and she was a Girl Scout. We both grew up in scouting, and these are my daughters, Taylor and Amanda. When you give to the United Way, you're joining all of the volunteers and organizations that make...
And inside here, a crowd of just about 65,000 on hand, watching the Lions ahead by a touchdown over the Green Bay Packers as Don Majkowski brings the pack to the line. 3rd and 10, ball at the 48 of the Lions. Flag on a play. Majkowski throws complete to Sterling Sharp for the first down, but there is a flag back near the line of scrimmage. And preliminary signal.
Offsides, 91 defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Against the Detroit Lions, and 91 is Mark Duckins, a second-year player out of Arizona State.
Well, if you can't get an effective playoff, why not get a penalty? And here we'll see Tony Manders, number 77, going against Hayworth, the rookie, number 99. And Metters does a fairly good job for the first 4 or 5 steps, then pushes him around the corner. That's something a lot of offensive tackles don't think about. You don't have to stuff the guy every play. If you make him run around and the quarterback can step up, that's as good as a stuff.
Gostkowski complete to Woodside, inside the 20. Down to about, and make that inside, down to about the 14-yard line, a 12-yard pickup on the play. Keith Ferguson on the tackle.
And Woodside made William White, number 35, the safety, look real bad on that one. Not only did he miss him once originally, he missed him another time coming back. And Woodside wasn't moving real fast. Those were little quick, slow moves.
Seems like a little fear on the part of the defender. Ball marked at the 16. 1st and 10. Packers threatening. Second quarter action here. Pack trailing by a touchdown. Woodside and Haddix, the backs. Play action. Ferguson running Majkowski out of bounds. And Jimmy Williams helping Keith Ferguson.
Don sort of looks over to the sideline and shrugs over at Lindy and says, hey, I couldn't do anything else. That was a good decision on his part. I mean, one thing that does sort of bring up, you know, it's 2nd and 11 now. That will be recorded as a sack against the offensive line. He lost a yard. That is a sack. You'll play entire games sometimes as an offensive line. You'll stuff the guys. Then the quarterback will run off the field, lose 1 yard, and you pick up a sack.
Well, the easiest sack Keith Ferguson has ever gotten in his 10th year in the league. Play action on 2nd and 11. Majkowski. Incomplete, intended receiver, Herman Fontenot. And Fontenot covered nicely by Toby Castone. I mentioned Castone. Up until recently, of course, it was Toby Caston. But an interesting story as to why the name pronunciation difference now.
Well, that's just like Wayne Fontes and his brother. Fontes, his pronunciation, his brother uses on the defensive staff, and Wayne uses Fontes. Toby went down to New Orleans, sort of researched his family roots, and figured out the proper pronunciation of his last name was Castone.
And we'll run with that. Dime defensive package in for the Lions. 6 DBs on 3rd and 11. Sterling Sharp tried to one-hand it in, incomplete. And Randy, I'm a little surprised in that Sharp didn't go with that fundamentally sound by putting 2 hands up as opposed to trying to one-hand it.
That's not a typical Sterling Sharp performance right there. He just sort of, I don't know, lackadaisical would be the proper term, but just sort of stuck his hand up there to knock it down.
So Chris Jackie will come on to attempt a 35-yard field goal. Missed the 49-yarder earlier. It's up. And it's good. So Chris Jackie finally puts the Pack on the board. They will credit him with a 34-yarder, 7-3. Well, the score reflects Detroit on top by 4 with 12:49 remaining in the second quarter. Randy talked about the quarterbacks doing the job on the ground, but Randy, what about pass and pass defense?
I think the pass defenses on both sides of the ball are doing very, very effective jobs of shutting down the wide receivers. And both quarterbacks are obviously very fired up and ready to play. Why else would you be running around risking limb and life trying to get those extra yards like these 2 guys are doing?
From the 1, Mel Gray. And Scott Stevens drops him at the 20.
Special teams coaches like Frank Gans from Detroit hate to see guys returning a ball like that on a kickoff. Why get up there on the 20-yard line and stand there and shake your shoulder pads and make everything move funny? Get up the field. Just run. If there's going to be people there, try to split them. Take a chance. Make a move at a later date, but don't make a move when you're surrounded by 4 guys that aren't going to miss you.
Tampa Bay still leading Minnesota. Tampa Bay, Vinny Testaverde specifically 0-4 against the Vikes in his career. 4 wideouts in. Standard run and shoot set for the Detroit Lions. 1st and 10 from their own 21. And Pete finds Richard Johnson. And Johnson steps out of bounds after a 3-yard pickup. And boy, a resounding chorus of boos from the fans here who maybe don't understand what a 5'6" receiver sees and feels when he looks at Tim Harris at 6'6", 260.
You know, God bless these folks. They pay a lot of good money to see their favorite team play, but by the same token, they've never gotten a face full of face mask and shoulder pad and everything else and been whacked. Johnson just decides to live to fight another day against Tim Harris, 97 there. That was not what you'd call fear or intimidation. I thought that was good show of intelligence by Richard Johnson, getting the heck out of bounds and away from Tim Harris.
A young man who learned something in the business world, working for 2 years with IBM. 2nd and 8, Pete. Flag on a play, incomplete. Intended receiver, Robert Clark.
It would look from the early indications that's going to probably be holding against Ken Dallafour, the right guard, number 67, working against Tim Harris.
And Tim Harris is working verbally already, as he's known to do. Working things up.
The base, number 67 offense, 2nd down.
We saw Tim Harris there getting worked up. Hank Bullough, the defensive coordinator, really had some interesting remarks about Tim Harris.
He says, this is a fired up guy. Here we see Dallafour right here working against Harris. Watch his hands. His hands are going to go up into Harris's face, and that's what they see right there. See the face right into the face mask turning his head? That's what the umpire saw, and that's why he threw that flag on Tim Harris. On Ken Dallafour.
Brings up a 2nd and 18. Pete with all kinds of times except now. Bennett giving chase. Incomplete, throwing in the direction of Barry Sanders and Robert Clark.
That was thrown in the direction of Mark Murphy, the safety for the Green Bay Packers, number 37. He looked so surprised that ball went through his hands like he can't be throwing at me.
Good pressure applied by Tony Bennett, attributing to these numbers here 4 of 12 for Rodney Peete. So,
well, we talked about the fact that he's running the ball effectively. That's why the Detroit offense right now is being effective. Barry Sanders is running the ball good. Rodney Peete's getting out there and running the ball. You're not going to beat anybody in the NFL throwing with those kind of numbers, though. If you're 4 for 12 for 22 yards and you're relying on your quarterback to lead you, you're going to be in a whole lot of hurt.
From 13, 3rd and 18. Sanders. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And Detroit, 3 and out on that series, will have to punt it away. Well, there's been an awful lot written about the run and shoot and whether or not Wayne Fontes ought to scrap the system altogether. He's committed to it in conversations with us, Randy.
Oh, without a doubt. I happen to think it's a very, very effective offense. And there's Wayne Fontes with the headset on the right, and Mouse Davis, his offensive coordinator, on the left, the recent architect of the run and shoot. But I think the key to the run and shoot offense is you've got to have an effective, very accurate quarterback, and Rodney Peete so far has not been that.
Arnold boots this one to the waiting arms of Jeff Query, who takes it at the 43. He's fast. And run out of bounds at about the 43. Packers ball when we come back.
If you should take an unexpected trip and your mortgage is protected by Allstate Life Insurance, we can see to it that your family's home is completely paid for. So get some sleep or call an Allstate agent. You're in good hands with Allstate. Allstate doesn't give you an ordinary claim check. Ours lets you rate us. This helps us give you quality service. So next time you get a check from Allstate, we'd appreciate getting one too. You're in good hands with Allstate.
They said we'd never make it, that you were too headstrong and I too set in my ways. But we fooled them, didn't we, Maggie? 10 years ago today, and I wouldn't trade one crazy minute of it. Our baby girl, my measly raise, our little fights over money, the laughs, the whole 9 yards. So sit yourself down and give me your hand just one more time, Maggie.
You're stuck in traffic, slumped in your seat, bumping up a B2B. Drive through. Hey, you. Drive through. Drive through. For breakfast at McDonald's, we got everything under the sun. OJ cereal, what do you say? Try a brand muffin to start your day. You can get it to go, and you can take it on the road. Drive through for breakfast at McDonald's.
Newton's tailed by a TV crew.
I'm kind of embarrassed about the whole thing.
I can't imagine that it would be any more embarrassing than losing a football game before 5,000 people.
Evening Shade Friday.
In college football last night, top 10 teams, Florida State victorious, as well as number 10 Miami, and that sets up a clash next week between number 2 and number 10 at 2 o'clock Eastern time right here on CBS. Florida State against Miami. And of course, it all gets started with the college football today with Andrea Joyce and Mike Francesa.
Bobby Bowden from Florida State is going for win number 200. Both teams kind of labeled outlaws, but it's always exciting offensive football.
Mikowski going up top for Sterling Sharp. And a flag on a play. Leroy Irvin right there step for step with him. And it looked like the 11-year veteran Irvin had him wrapped up with that arm.
Irvin had his hands, his arms, his chest, his entire body all over Sterling Sharp. He was on him like a cheap suit.
Defensive pass interference, 47 on the 5-yard line, first down.
Now Leroy Irvin, the longtime Rams cornerback, number 47 there, obviously doesn't agree. Mikowski throws this for about all it's worth. Look at that thing wobbling and moving sideways. But Irvin here, you saw where the bump and the infraction happened was early. When Irvin was not looking back at the ball, he was bumping Sterling Sharp. If he'd have been looking back towards the ball and had that contact, it would have been incidental contact and it would have been all right.
So it brings up a 1st and goal, ball at the 5. Out of the I formation, forward, hit by Keith Ferguson. Back near the line of scrimmage.
Ferguson made a good play there, 77 for the Lions against his counterpart, 77. Mandarich, the right tackle for the Green Bay Packers. Mandarich came off the ball. He was going to blast him. He's known as a great drive blocker. I'm going to put this guy in the end zone. And the wily old 10-year veteran Ferguson kind of stood him up very nicely, used his momentum against him, threw him on the ground, made the tackle.
The best cornerback the Lions have ever had for their team, Lynn Barney, up in the booth with us. Agreed with the last call, believe it or not. 2nd and goal, ball at the 4. Mikowski. Touchdown, Green Bay, Ed West.
That's a play we're seeing more and more of, I think, every week, James. These defenses are becoming so quick, they react so fast, quarterbacks are bootlegging. And that was a classic boot where you pull somebody out in front of the quarterback and you use them to come around and you just release that tight end late back towards the line. Watch West will come out here or go here. Now watch Mikowski's going to come out here. He'll have a blocker in front of him that'll cut down the interference there, and that's what leads the way.
Back to live action as Chris Jackie makes good on a point after. So the Packers move out in front of the Lions by the score of 10-7.
Here's West, number 86. Moran, left guard, is going to come out. He goes to the back of the end zone. Moran pulls out, cuts down the outside linebacker. Mikowski comes here and hits his man for an easy touchdown in the back of the end zone. This is what you refer to as a clean boot. There is nothing prettier as an offensive player when you free up a guy that clean for a lead.
A6, hurry and you'll make it.
Delta Airlines ticket agent Sam Singletary knows how to get people moving.
Mr. Franklin, your bag.
But sometimes he has to show off a few moves of his own. The kind of moves that made him a first-string halfback. Sam Singletary shares a feeling with everyone at Delta. He loves what he's doing, and it shows.
We love to fly.
He's the kid.
And it shows.
Everybody's scary.
Who are you?
Menace pops out of every frame. Gene Seymour and Gregory Harrison, Angel of Death, Tuesday.
This is a CBS News special report. From CBS News headquarters in New York, here is Connie Chung.
Second quarter, 9:31 remaining. Green Bay on top 10-7. Detroit ball thanks to an excellent return, a 28-yard return by Jeff Campbell. And it's now 2nd and 1 for the Lions in this drive. Sanders stepping out of bounds near the 40. Called it a 4-yard run by Barry Sanders.
You want to see the equivalent of a football with a football guy of a gnat on the front of a doggone semi-truck? Watch Richard Johnson, 84, trying to block Harris, number 97. This is called nice try, but maybe next time. Hey, get out of my face. There he goes. Give me a big guy. Give me a lineman. He throws him down on the ground, too.
Very active Tim Harris in search of the elusive 50th career sack. Got his last sack, second game of the season last year. A lot of attention focused on him. 1st and 10 here for the Lions. Pete. Complete to Greer. First down plus a bunch. Pete to Greer. Tiger Green pushes him out of bounds near the 20.
And that play was a good example of the kind of holes in defenses the run and shoot can stretch a defense into. Because Greer is just going to go past the cornerback. Naturally or normally, you'd see this little support on the inside from the safety. But Lee's beaten deep. George Tiger Green comes in here and makes a tackle and drives him out of bounds. But it was a nice throw by Rodney Peete into obviously what would seem to be a mistake by the defense, allowing that big of a hole.
Longest pass completion of the year for Pete, a 40-yarder. This is Sanders on 1st and 10. 3-yard pickup, and Sanders is in the game with the Lions in the red zone. And last week, for the last 10 minutes of the game, Sanders was not in there, Randy.
Well, our producer, Bob Monsbach, asked head coach Wayne Fonts Friday. He said, you know, whose decision was that? Was that yours or Mouse Davis's? And Wayne Fonts looked him dead in the eye
emphatically
and said, I make every decision on this football team. I made that decision. He doesn't pass block as well as we'd like. James Weiler, number 34, was our guy at the time. Any questions?
2nd and 7. Ball at the 17 of Green Bay. Richard Johnson, incomplete. And from this angle, he looked to be wide open.
It sort of looked like right there he needed 3 inches more legs and about another 4 inches of arms, and he'd have been fine. Because that pass is thrown inbounds, right on the corner, throwing towards the flag. A normal side receiver's got this ball. That just went right through his hands. He just couldn't be tall enough for that pass right there.
And Randy, that's the kind of statistic that will not show up, or rather embellishment in the statistic that won't show up when you look at Rodney Peete's numbers. 3rd and 7 from the 17. Peete looking for Johnson again. Touchdown, Detroit. Little Richard Johnson got behind Mark Murphy and picked up some inches that time.
Well, the last play, Richard Johnson made an easy one look hard. This play for the touchdown, he makes a hard one look easy. Watch here. Would he have come down in bounds with both feet? Richard Johnson has the ball. Yes, he would have come down in bounds. One, he would have come down with both feet in bounds, but was contacted by the defender who knocked him out of bounds. They're going to review this again, I think, but it's clear that he gets the 1 foot down, then the defender pushes him, and his momentum added to the defender made him go out of bounds.
So now Lindy Infante, as you take a look at the replay booth with Cal Laporte trying to help the replay officials by signaling for a timeout so that they can review it. But Wayne Fontes ought to know the rule as well as you. And again, Randy, the key there
is the fact that he would have come down inbounds with both feet had he not been contacted by the receiver. He comes down here, watch, 1 foot's in, the defender hits him, Murphy hits him and drives him out of the end zone. He never had a chance to get that 2nd foot down before he was knocked out of bounds. Watch it one more time. Johnson's got it. The 1 foot comes down, contact is made. The left leg will never have a chance to get out because Murphy is pushing him out the back of the end zone.
Now, there is a 2-minute limit imposed on instant replay decisions this year from the time that the umpire signals that a replay is in effect when he's communicated to from the replay booth there. As you take a look at Cal Lepore with the glasses. And right now, if you're keeping track, it's been 1 minute and 15 seconds. Lindy Infante staying on top of things. Can't fault him for trying to help his own cause by whistling for that timeout quickly.
Yeah, if there is a flaw in this replay system, it's that it does take, I think, too long for review. You look at it 2 or 3 times. If it looks very obvious, you have to have an obvious reason to overrule. It cannot be something minute. It's got to be a very, very obvious thing to overrule the on-field officials. Now, does anything look extremely obvious to you here? It looks like he's going to come down with 1 leg. He would have come down with the other one. Murphy hits him, pushes him out of bounds.
Wayne Fontes having a real fit right now. You saw him earlier put up 2 fingers. He realizes that there's a 2-minute limit on that as well. Infante, of course, trying to argue his case, saying it's incomplete, he's out of bounds. Now, it has been 2 minutes and 15 seconds, according to our clock, from the time that the umpire signaled that a replay was in effect.
And it's got to be a very helpless kind of a situation for Tom Dooley, the referee. He just has to stand around and listen while the umpire talks to the booth upstairs. It takes this long, I bet they reverse this thing, James.
We have a reversal. It's an incomplete pass.
According to the ground rules that you stated, and you can take a look at Wayne Fontes, who is irate at the reversal.
I think he's pointing the intricacies of the rules out right there to that official in his face. But they obviously thought that his momentum would have carried him out the back of the end zone. I don't happen to agree with him. I think he would have landed that left foot in the end zone if nobody would have touched him. But perhaps he's bobbling the ball at the very end. Watch the ball. Don't watch his feet. Yes, good call by the referees. I'm wrong. He did not have control of that ball at the very end of the catch.
So Randy Cross will acknowledge when at fault. So Eddie Murray will come on and attempt a 34-yard field goal. And it's no good. So Detroit comes away empty-handed after the reversal and a missed field goal attempt and trail by 3.
Every game of baseball's championship season is here on CBS.
You've heard it said before. It's not just what you say. It's how you say it. LaserJet printers from Hewlett-Packard. They'll get you noticed.
Shop Menards Oktoberfest sale for savings that really last. Like the Forever Storm and Screen doors by Emco. They're guaranteed not to crack, split, dent, or rot for as long as you own your home, starting at just $184. And save on Red Devil Lifetime Caulk with silicone. It's backed with a lifetime warranty. Use it on any surface, indoors and out. Now just $1.59 per tube. Discover savings that last at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
I haven't seen you guys in so long.
Well, we can
never agree on a restaurant, right?
Hey, I ordered already. I found us a great wine.
Oh, a decision maker. Oh, this is wonderful wine. I had this at David's. I served this at my place. It was a big hit.
You guys, I was hoping you hadn't tried it yet.
Oh, come on. Look, we finally found something we all agree on, you know? I mean, when was the last time that happened?
Ernest and Julio Gallo invite you to try White Grenache. It will change the way you think about Gallo.
So a reverse call nullifies a touchdown strike from Pete to Johnson. And Randy, here it is.
From this angle, it will look like Johnson is pushed out of the end zone. It should have been a touchdown. It should have been 6 points. He's going to have the ball. You'll see his body turn away from the camera here. From here on out, it looks like 6. Now from this angle, watch him bobble the ball. He does not have control.
Harrison motion Fullwood the ball carry on 1st and 10 for the Pack, and another first down. And Brent Fullwood, aggressive, hard running, picks up about 12 on the play.
That can be a real emotional plus for the Green Bay Packers to have that touchdown taken away. It's the second time this year Detroit's had points taken off the board by a replay, and they get nothing in return. And this is just attitude. Hallstrom, the right guard, 65, gets a good block, as does Mandaritz, the right tackle, 77. And then it's just Brent Fullwood giving e-ticket rides to the rest of the Detroit defense right there for a good 10, 12-yard gain.
And Fullwood would want to be given credit for all of the yardage. They call it a 16-yard gain. 1st and 10. Haddix for a couple. I guess just to put a knot, tie a bow into the discussion on the reversal there, the thing that Wayne Fontes additionally was most upset about, being well aware of the rules, is that it took longer than 2 minutes to make a decision. And if in fact the decision is not made in 2 minutes, then it's to be ruled inconclusive and the play stands. So Fontes very upset.
Well, they've obviously torn that little excerpt out of the rule book this year, because I don't know if we've had too many replays that have not been in excess of 2 minutes.
Miami blitzing Pittsburgh, 21 zip, 5 DBs in for the Lions, 39. Ray Crockett, the 5th DB, on 2nd and 7. Nearly intercepted by William White, intended receiver Perry Kemp, the man they call Commodore, and Commodore Kemp goes over and says, yeah, that was your play.
That was a very good play fake. They faked the ball to Brent Fullwood. Mikowski hid the ball on his hip very, very well. But I don't think he was too open, Kemp. If he had that to throw over again, I believe Mikowski would have thrown that one into the ground or up over the sideline where nobody else could get it.
Third and 7. 5:55 remaining in the first half. Packers on top by 3. Mikowski tries to drill for Sterling Sharp, who was well covered. And this may be a case here, Randy, that play there of Mikowski trying to get Sharp into the flow of things, but forcing it.
And Ray Crockett was all over him. He just threw the ball behind Sterling Sharp, and good coverage there by Crockett, number 39. But that was not really a case of great coverage, as it was a matter that Don Mikowski did not put the ball where Sterling Sharp could catch it.
So Don Bracken on for his first punt of the afternoon for the Packers. Averaged only 29 yards on 3 punts last week. Mel Gray back to receive. From the 27. Tries to reverse field and scoots ahead to about the 36. Stopped by Michael Haddix. Baseball, of course, in the news as well. As you take a look at the standings in the National League, Pittsburgh ahead of the New York Mets by 4. Pirates magic number 1. One loss by the Mets or a win by Pittsburgh, and they clinch it. And starting next Thursday in Cincinnati, the Reds will be hosting the National League Championship Series, playing against either the Pirates or the Mets. That'll be brought to you prime time right here on CBS. Jack Buck, Tim McCarver calling the action.
Yeah, I think at this point you can sort of, like you would say, stick a fork in the Mets. They're done. This year is over for the New York Mets, and it's the Pittsburgh Pirates in the East.
I like the way you're very diplomatic. Dance around things. 1st and 10 for the Lions. 5:39 remaining in the first half. Detroit trailing by 3. Pete complete for the first down across midfield. So little Richard Johnson, who missed 2 years of professional ball, working in the corporate environment with IBM, called back into play by Mouse Davis, who knew that he understood the run and shoot extremely well when he played in the USFL.
It's very, very important right now that Rodney Peete has a receiver like a Richard Johnson to stabilize his receiving core. He's the most dependable. He knows this offense inside and out, and he can actually help a quarterback read the defense better.
Ball at the 46. Delayed handoff to Sanders. Sanders making people miss, as is his trademark. Mark Murphy has to push him out of bounds as opposed to trying to tackle him. 9 yards on a play that didn't look as if it had an open at all.
There wasn't a block on that play on the right side of the Detroit offensive line. Sanders was just shaking and baking and making people miss. Every time he'd start moving, he'd see somebody in front of him, give him a wiggle, then accelerate. It's that quick acceleration. He got away from Matt Brock, he got away from Scott Steven, and got all the way around to the outside.
Very nice young man, and although very quiet and soft-spoken, Randy seemed to be distinctly upbeat as compared to last year when we chatted with him. Maybe he likes you guys an awful lot. 2nd and 1. Sanders trying to block, ball tipped.
And that ball tipped by Mark Murphy, number 37, the safety, on a safety blitz, who Sanders was trying to block. And, you know, Barry Sanders is the kind of blocker right now at this point of his career. He's sort of a scared blocker. He's not scared, but he's afraid of the result if something goes bad. He's not really trying to get in there and intimidate people. He's more afraid of the fact, well, gee, if I miss, he's going to get my quarterback. Or, gee, if I miss, he's going to hit the other running back. Oh, what am I saying? There isn't another running back. But, you know, he's a guy right now that doesn't have much confidence in his blocking ability.
You're right. The other running back, the only other running back on the sidelines, James Wilder, picked up from the Redskins in a trade that sent Eric Williams there. Here comes Sanders. There goes Sanders. Mike Weddington catching him in the backfield before he's able to cut. And he's dropped in. Tim Harris a little excited on the play.
And the crowd screaming for Wayne Fontes and the Lions to go for this 4th down play. And it would look like they are going to do it and not send in their punt team.
On 4th and 1. Ball at the 37 of Green Bay. 3:54 remaining in the first half. Packers on top 10-7. And Rodney Peete signaling, hey, Wayne, take a look at the clock. Now the play clock ticking down, and they signal for a timeout with 8 seconds remaining on the play clock.
Rodney Peete's going to come to the sidelines here and go to Wayne Fontes and Mouse Davis and go, now, it's 4th and half a yard. You sure we don't have any fullbacks or tight ends on this team I could use in this short yardage situation? Here's a situation where a run and shoot team is at a disadvantage on a 4th and short down by the goal line, because they do not have the big horses at a tight end or a lead block as a fullback to get that tough yardage. They're spread out. The defense is spread out, but you got to make most of your yardage in short yardage and goal line situations going east and west. You don't have the punch and the muscle to go up the middle.
Next Sunday, the excitement begins at 12:30 Eastern time with the last word before kickoff, the NFL Today. Then many of you will see the Lions take on the Vikings in the Metrodome. And some of you will see the Packers and the Bears collide in a classic NFC Central showdown. Check your local listings for the game time in your area. Randy, let's complete that thought now. Although there are no tight ends on the roster for Detroit, only 2 running backs, why not just throw in some extra big linemen then to get the same effect?
Mainly because I don't know if Wayne Fontes and Mouse Davis have the confidence. They had guys last year, they used it. It wasn't that effective. They decided to go full term with this run and shoot even in these situations.
This situation here, 4th and 1. Play action. Peete. And he gets it. Flag on the play as Rodney Peete runs for the first down, outrunning Tony Bennett.
When a flag comes from the far side of the field like that, you always want to think it's either somebody lined up off sides or it's illegal procedure. And here's the replay. Rodney Peete right here. The cameraman gets faked out a little bit with Barry Sanders. And Rodney Peete decides right here, I'm not going to flip it forward. Let's just run through there. And it was offsides against the defense.
And guess who is at least happy on the inside, though he can't display it physically? Willie Peete, the father of Rodney Peete, offensive backfield coach who greeted his son before the game today.
And I'll tell you who's the most worried and doesn't show it, or will show it, is his mother, Edna, who's in the stands watching him scramble around and run around all these big guys. Mothers worry about that. Dads say, oh, he's a big boy, he take care of himself.
1st and 10 for the Lions. Ball at the 32 of the Packers. Going up top for Terry Greer. And he's out of bounds as he catches it, but out of bounds. So Pete putting the ball on the money that time. And Mark Lee right there on top of it.
This is now the 3rd situation where Detroit has caught balls. One was bobbling out of the back of the end zone. Richard Johnson had one where he came in out of bounds. Watch the feet. Out of bounds in the 1st step, out of bounds in the 2nd step. Now in Canada, that's in by at least 3 or 4 yards.
Which is not too far away from here, but not close enough. 2nd and 10. Ball at the 32. Sanders. And boy, does he have to create his own running room. No blocking at all that time as Weddington wraps him up after a 2-yard gain.
Rodney Peete had an interesting observation the other day when we talked to him. He says, you know, defenses and specifically the outside linebackers aren't dropping into pass coverage until after they see me go past Barry. Last year, guys were coming up field. Defensive ends had come up field. The linebackers had come up field. Not this year. They got burned too many times by Barry Sanders. They're waiting to be sure he's not going to get that ball.
Tampa Bay did an excellent job of it last week. 3rd and 8. Ball at the 30. Complete to Sanders. 1st down inside the 20. And that's exactly what Wayne Fonts is trying to get more of out of Barry Sanders. Play as a receiver. He could be that much more dangerous.
And here's Barry Sanders. He's just going to swing out here in the backfield, come out here and get hit with a nice quick little pass by Rodney Peete. And this would be a great addition to the Lions passing game if they can get Sanders more and more involved. And he can start putting these moves on guys. Defensive backs don't like to see him in the open field.
No one wants to be embarrassed. We're at the 2-minute mark of the 1st half. Packers and Lions. Detroit trailing by 3. 2 minutes remaining in the 1st half. Green Bay on top 10-3. Detroit threatening. Ball at the 19-yard line of Green Bay. And Randy, crucial situation here in that Detroit came away without a touchdown last time. Green Bay 1 timeout remaining. Detroit 2.
Well, their field starts shrinking now for the run and shoot. It's critical they make something happen from a little further out like this. They get closer to the goal line. They have less field to work with.
Complete. Down near the 12-yard line and looked to be Robert Clark on the reception, and it is.
You got to have a lot of confidence in your throwing arm and your receivers if you're throwing a pass out there like that. Because if that pass is just a little bit off, it's 6 points the other way.
And Detroit, impressive numbers on this drive, still alive. 2nd and 3. Ball marked at the 12 of Green Bay. Richard Johnson in motion. Good block by Barry Sanders. Richard Johnson inside the 5. So the block that gave Rodney Peete the time to complete that one came from Barry Sanders in a 9-yard pickup and a 1st and goal for Detroit.
And here's Barry Sanders not blocking scared. Here's him blocking aggressive against Murphy. 37 comes in, meets Mr. Sanders. Let's take a look at this right here. Rodney Peete wants to come back. Barry just picks him up out of the corner of his eye. Stops him long enough, and Richard Johnson's going to make a nice little run, squirting up the field and getting as many yards as he can before he walks out of bounds.
1st and goal from the 3.
Let's look for that quick slant again here from Detroit.
Sanders, touchdown, Detroit. Right side of that line gave him some breathing room that time. He didn't need much. Eddie Murray on for the point after. It's up, and it's good. So the Lions retake the lead as Barry Sanders steps across from the 3. Lions on top 14-10.
Now here's a situation where the defense gets down that close to the end zone. They start getting spread out. They've got an extra lineman in here at tight end. Sanders will take the ball, stretch, and then just zaps right into the end zone for a touchdown behind some fine blocking. Actually, you know what that was? That was a tackle over. They had Eric Andelsick, their left guard, in at right tackle next to Ken Dallafour. You had Salem at tight end, Dallafour at Andelsick at right tackle, and Dallafour at right guard. No contest. They just plowed right through that Green Bay defense. Now that'll give the Green Bay coaches on the defensive side, led by Hank Bulla, a little something to think about, bringing that offensive guard over there, putting him at tackle, then putting the tackle at tight end. That gives you a legitimate goal line type of an offensive front.
Eddie Murray still experiencing difficulty on kickoffs, can't get him deep enough. This one from the 7, Carl Bland. Crushed by Nico Noga.
Nico Noga, brother of Al Noga. Watch him come out as a blur out of the left side of your screen. Drives through the receiver, through. Oh, that's great. Love to see those kind of hits on special teams. Usually guys are getting grabbed by the shirt and pulled down. These guys fired up or what? Hey, we're ahead. We want to be 2-2.
Nico Noga, 6'1", 235. Wayne Moore with that momentum coming up in just a few moments at halftime from New York. NFL Today crew, Greg Gumbel and Terry Bradshaw with scores and highlights from around the league. Right here, 1st and 10 for the Pack from their own 21. Mikowski throws complete to the 30-yard line to Clarence Weathers.
This will be a time for Don Mikowski to get a little confidence and pad his stats a little bit, but Detroit is in an extremely deep defense prevent. They're 20 yards off the ball right now in the middle.
First down to Jeff Query with 37 seconds remaining, and the Pack whistle for their last timeout in the first half with 35 seconds remaining, and Detroit on top by 4. Jeff Query, very fast player, second-year player out of Milliken.
So far this year, he's been a touchdown waiting to happen on punt returns. He's had a couple situations where he's gotten some great blocking, a clean hole. They had 3 home games in a row, the Packers did the last 3 weeks, and he just tripped up on the grass. I mean, there wasn't anybody around him, and he fell down, and boy, was he mad. He was banging the ball and kicking the ground. But this is the guy that's going to be a real impact player, not only on special teams, but also when they work him effectively into this offense. Jerry Holmes, the starting corner for Detroit, says he's their big play guy. You don't worry about Sterling Sharp making the big plays downfield. You worry about Jeff Query because he has that speed.
Fans on hand witnessing a close one here in the first half from the Silverdome. James Brown along with Randy Cross. 14-10 ball game. Lions on top. 35 seconds remaining in the first half. Don Mikowski starting his second game of the 1990 season after a 45-day holdout. Mikowski throws it complete to Herman Fontenot. 2 yards shy of the first down marker. 8-yard pickup on that pass play.
Now they need to get about 20, I would say 20 yards from right here to get effectively inside of Chris Jackie's field goal range. They don't have to go all the way downfield and try for a home run. Mikowski can drag a Query or drag a Sterling Sharp coming from one side across the other and get down right around the 30-yard line. As long as he can get out of bounds, they'll have a chance at a field goal.
Chris Jackie has booted a 53-yarder, that coming this year against the Rams, his career best. Mikowski takes it himself and runs for another inside of the 40. So Mikowski running for the first down. 18 seconds remaining in the first half. Jimmy Williams on the stop. And Mikowski wisely stopping the clock with 13 seconds remaining. So as I mentioned, Chris Jackie, his career best, second-year player out of Texas El Paso, a 53-yarder. That came against the Rams in the Packers' victory, 36-24.
Well, right now it would be somewhere between 55 and 56 yards if they got it. They've got 13 seconds left. It's probably time for one play to pick up. They have to have a minimum of five more yards to get them into the 50 to 51 range, and they have to get out of bounds because they have no timeouts.
2nd and 10 to Fontenot, and Fontenot, the clock still runs, and Green Bay will not get a chance to attempt the field goal because Fontenot did not get out of bounds. No timeouts remaining for Green Bay.
Poor decision by a veteran ball player, Herman Fontenot.
So that's the end of the first half with the score. Detroit 14, Green Bay 10. NFL Today halftime with Greg and Terry coming up.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. United Airlines, serving over 200 cities in the U.S. and around the world. Come fly the friendly skies. And by Hewlett-Packard LaserJet printers. They'll get you noticed.
And welcome back to our studios in New York, everyone. Those of you who have been watching Green Bay and Detroit, Greg Gumbel along with Terry Bradshaw. Let's get you caught up on the scoreboard. First of all, at the Meadowlands, the New York Giants have just seen the Dallas Cowboys score a touchdown, and their lead over the Cowboys has been cut to 17-9, and with the extra point now it's 17-10. Phil Simms, 12 yards to Mark Ingram, questionable call here.
Well, the call was that he wasn't in, and it's right. The right foot was down, but notice the left foot, when it comes down by Ingram, touches the out-of-bounds marker, not a completed pass. The Giants are smart enough to get up kicks extra point before can be reviewed.
Phil Simms came back with a 7-yard touchdown pass to number 80, Bob Morosco there, and then Emmitt Smith from 3 yards out scores his first National Football League touchdown. The extra point was good, and so the Giants' lead over Dallas is now 17-10 early in the third quarter. Meanwhile, Indianapolis at Philadelphia, they've gone to the third quarter. The Eagles lead the Colts 17-10. Randall Cunningham has hit Keith Jackson for a 35-yard touchdown pass in that game. Tampa Bay at Minnesota. Third quarter score, the Bucks lead it by a touchdown. 10-3 is the score there. Wade Wilson looking on in street clothes as Rich Gannon got the start. Terry Bradshaw, you said that Tampa Bay was going to look to run the football. Gary Anderson does here.
They are. Notice they're out of split backs. Both backs are split wide, and all that does is allow the guards into center. Against a team that has one middle linebacker, you can read him, and it's easier to block, easier for Testaverde to direct his running game.
Well, under Rich Gannon, the Vikings aren't able to muster anything so far. It's 10-3 Bucks. In Detroit, the game you are watching now, the Lions leading the Green Bay Packers 14-10 at halftime. Rodney Peete to Richard Johnson for a touchdown that was called back, Terry.
In the back of the end zone. It looks like it's a good catch, but the ref sitting in the backfield judge noticed that he did not have possession. That was a ruling. Now, you can see left hand a bobble, then the right hand, and then the ball goes down. And, of course, Wayne Fonts is irate, but no avail. It's still an incompletion.
A little bit less than pleased as Wayne Fonts was 14-10 at halftime. The Lions with the 4-point lead. In Buffalo, they've gone to the third quarter, and the Broncos lead the Bills 14-3. Bobby Humphries gone over 100 yards for the third time this season. Thurman Thomas of the Bills, meanwhile, has been held to just 12 yards rushing. They're in the third quarter. The Broncos lead it. At Pittsburgh, the Steelers' offense just horrendous. The Dolphins lead it 21-3 in the third quarter. Pittsburgh had 1 first down in the first half, 27 total yards. Their offense is in deep trouble. The Dolphins lead it 21-3. Updating the Victor Kiam story in New England after again publicly apologizing to reporter Lisa Olson, Kiam stated on the NFL Today that management changes would be forthcoming. He hinted at a suspension of general manager Patrick Sullivan and called for Patriots players to step forward and apologize. Kiam has just told us he will address the squad before and after today's game against the Jets, and that what he has to say is, quote, much more important than football. We'll, of course, continue to monitor the situation for you. Major League Baseball, let's get you caught up with what's happening first in the American League East. The Toronto Blue Jays, starting the day 2 games back of Boston, lead the Red Sox 4-2 in the 4th inning. In the National League East, Pittsburgh and the Cardinals are scoreless in the 3rd inning. The Pirates starting the day 4 games up on the New York Mets, who are hosting the Chicago Cubs at Shea Stadium in New York. Andre Dawson's 2-run homer has the Cubs on top of the Mets in the 4th inning. We'll remind you that our coverage of the Major League Baseball Championship Series begins Thursday night with the NLCS Game 1. It begins at 8 o'clock Eastern Time here on CBS. We will take a time out now. After we tell you first, we'll update the score for you. Toronto and Boston is now a 4-3 Blue Jays lead over the Red Sox. And we'll continue after this word from your local station.
When Buck's bad call blows the big game, will he strike out at home?
You can all blow it out your shirt.
Uncle Buck. Then,
the connection between a general and his staff secretary has to be almost psychic.
The Major gets a new boss.
Quick! What am I thinking?
Major Dad after Uncle Buck, Monday.
A woman becomes trapped inside a deadly inferno while her family watches in helpless horror.
I said, God, take her before she burns.
Rescue 911, Tuesday.
This is CBS.
Hi, Jeff. Hi. Can you really eat all that? Oh, yeah. It's perfect for a guy like me. A big, thick, juicy cheeseburger with bacon. I need to bulk up for football this fall. Really? I was thinking of going out for co-ed soccer. Co-ed, huh?
And now get a bacon cheeseburger, or mushroom and Swiss burger, or big deluxe burger with crispy curls and a medium soft drink for only $2.99. Only at Hardee's. All kinds of good stuff.
It seems that everyone is on the move these days. And no matter where you're moving, or how you're moving, no other bank moves with you as well as Valley Bank. Because only Valley offers you the convenience of full-service banking at over 109 locations around the state. And that's a convenience you can use, no matter why you're moving.
Strong, helpful, friendly, that's the Valley Banks.
Fresh as morning, friendly as laughter, a good neighbor close to home. Piggly Wiggly, Piggly Wiggly, fresh, friendly, and close to home. Piggly Wiggly, fresh, friendly, and close to home. Piggly Wiggly, Piggly Wiggly.
Personalities, weekdays at 3 on TV2.
Well, the action just outside of Detroit is coming from inside of the Silverdome here. Packers trailing the Lions by 4 at halftime. James Brown along with Randy Cross. And Randy, here we thought we had two teams struggling a bit offensively, and they combined for over 400 yards in the first half.
Well, exactly, James. They're running the ball very, very effectively. Matter of fact, the quarterbacks are running the ball effectively. Barry Sanders, unlike the first 3 games of the year, is being highlighted and is very effective on the ground.
You talk about on the ground and the quarterbacks in the first half. Comparison between Rodney Peete and Don Majkowski. Pretty impressive numbers, although some up and down things as far as those numbers are concerned, but they both had their clubs close. Now you take a look at the running backs. Rodney Peete handing off to Barry Sanders. Impressive first half, but Brent Fullwood, give him an awful lot of credit. He really ran for some hard-earned yards in the first half, and as you gear for the second half, what might you look for? More of the same or a little different?
I think more of the same out of the running backs. Both teams have to feature the running game to keep the pressure off their quarterbacks, but as well as the quarterbacks have been running, in the case of Majkowski and Peete, both these quarterbacks have got to be much, much more effective. Majkowski was 10 of 20, Peete was 10 of 22, and the winning team will be the one with the quarterback that is on the money, is effective, and makes the big plays in the second half throwing the ball.
All right, well, we talked again about how important this game is to both teams. They're playing like it. We've got a close one at the halfway mark, 14-10, Detroit on top. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment.
When it's your business, you do what you have to do. For example, if a customer needs something in a hurry and you have to unload the truck yourself, you do it. That's what an owner does for a customer. That's why I rent cars from Avis.
Avis is the only major rent-a-car company owned by its employees, and they're trying harder with Roving Rapid Return, a computerized drop-off system now at more locations than ever to get you on your way faster.
They say that you can't please everybody. I say an owner's sure gonna try.
Avis, we're trying harder than ever.
Now, I'm minding my own business, and this guy on the phone is chewing my ear off about how I gotta leave AT&T. Save big, we're better. So, now I'm wondering what's in the fine print. Like, where do these savings come from? If I got a problem with my bill, can I speak to a machine, or can I maybe talk to somebody with a pulse? They say switch and save.
Don't take their word for it. Have them put it in writing.
So I said to the guy, let's put it in writing. Guy says, excuse me? You know and I know. It's still not AT&T.
Ready for some good news? If your car is in an accident and you have Allstate insurance, you can leave it in our hands. Allstate's recommended pro shops can do everything, including the estimate, in one stop. And to make you feel even better, Allstate will guarantee their workmanship for as long as you own your car. Well, that's the news. Now, be careful. You're in good hands with Allstate, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
When are we going to get a maid?
We don't need a maid. That's why we had kids. Catch the show People magazine called one of the season's happiest surprises. Yes! Lenny. Then, has Dr. Mike met his dream date?
What do you feel like eating?
How's lobster sound?
Like this.
Or his worst nightmare? Dr. Doctor, right after Lenny, Wednesday.
What's he done to my baby?
A child held hostage pushes a cop to a chilling decision.